to MetalVice In 666. I'm your host, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen.
And if you haven't joined us before, a 666 is basically our normal podcast. We ramble way too much, or we used to, and we still do, honestly.
We do, yeah, a lot.
So the idea here was we pick one topic and talk about it for 6 minutes and 66 seconds. We even had a timer that we used to throw up, and you know what? I'll throw it up for old times once we get started here as well. The reason we took the timer down is we never followed it.
Yeah,
we just
it went
kept
to
rambling.
like 14 minutes, 15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever, we took it away, but the idea is still the same. We pick one topic and talk about it, and we don't typically do news items as well unless they're like pretty big or something we care a lot about.
We've done a couple things that are like kind of in the news.
Yeah, but mostly we don't.
No, yeah.
Today's topic is about the news, or at least a pretty big announcement, in my opinion, that came out not too long ago that we haven't talked about, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about that. So I'll go ahead and start the timer now, and we can get started. And that big news item is a couple weeks ago now, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced they're getting married.
Fuck that.
No, that's what we're going to talk about.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. I was watching the U.S. Open tennis, like the first round or like one of the first days, and had it on the background while I worked, had a meeting, muted it, came back, and that's what they were talking about during tennis, was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting married. And part of that, during that little chat and what they were having, they're like, oh, Taylor Swift owns her music, right? And it got me thinking that I thought she owned her music because she re-recorded everything, and that's how she sort of got her music. She doesn't actually have it. It's the re-recordings that she has. Turns out after the Eras Tour, she made so much money that she was able to buy her original masters back. But then that got me thinking as well about people selling their music and how music is sold and traded and whatnot. And there's like an old story of Paul McCartney being friends with Michael Jackson and saying like, hey, you know, you should really own your music. That's how you like maintain and make that much money, is by owning the music. The labels have it, and that's how they make their money. And then Michael Jackson comes back. He's like, you know what? You're right. That's a very good idea. In fact, I'm going to buy the Beatles catalog. And he went out and bought the Beatles catalog.
Okay.
They were no longer friends after that.
Yeah.
In any case, there's been other stories in the news lately as well. Bruce Springsteen sold his catalog, and other bands have sold their catalogs. And I did see a news article not long ago for Metal about Slipknot wanting to sell their catalog. So all of this in my head came from Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting married. So yay, let's have a little chat about Slipknot selling their catalog.
Okay. I don't know anything about this, and you
didn't hear this?
No, I don't know how I missed this, but
it was sort of all over the place a few weeks back, even before that whole thing, so maybe a couple months now.
Okay.
And the headlines were, not Metallica, Slipknot sells their catalog for like $120 million, I think is what the title or the price was.
Okay.
For their entire catalog. And at first I was a little sort of upset by that because I don't want them to sell their catalogs. They're selling, like all these bands who are selling their catalogs are selling them to hedge funds or venture capitalist groups and whatnot. And I think the idea with these venture capitalist groups is, one, they're going to like promote the fuck out of it, put it all over commercials and all that kind of shit, which whatever. It'd be kind of cool to see people equal shit on, you know, like a McDonald's commercial.
Right.
But people equal shit. Like, you know, something like that. That'd be kind of fun. I hope you put like a copy strike for that little hummy thing. Interesting. Anywho, but the article, or sorry, what I was trying to say is, you know, selling them to all that shit, but also using the catalog then to train AI models and whatnot. And to me, that's like, what the fuck are you doing? That's stupid. But in any case, I was a little upset when I saw Slipknot was doing that. But the title's a little misleading because it's not that they're selling the rights to their music. They're selling their publishing and master recording royalties that they get for $120 million. And again, this was, I don't know when this article is published. This was from Metal Injection at the beginning of, or middle of August 15th.
Okay. So
we'll put that link in the description here. But yeah.
I don't know how I missed this, but...
Yeah, reportedly trying to sell that. I guess not every member is wanting to sell, so it's a subset of members doing it. There was another guy on YouTube on a reel I saw. He was breaking it down, and to me it makes sense because he's like, in 2024 they only made $15 million for royalties. Like all that money they made was $15 million. The year before that was like 14 or something like that.
Well, yeah, because most of it now is coming off of streaming, and you don't make anything on streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I guess right behind us, we didn't clear this off. This is the 25th anniversary of Slipknot, the self-titled album.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm wondering again, like this is probably owned by the master recordings. Slipknot might have some say and like get some money off of it for sure.
Yeah.
The label, Warner Music Group, I think owns everything. They bought it from Roadrunner back in like 2007. Yeah, I think 2007.
Early. Yeah.
So I think Roadrunner sort of went under, and then Warner Music bought up the rights to everything. So they own the masters and all of that kind of shit. So it kind of makes sense if you can make 120 million today.
Right.
It's a lot more money up front than waiting year after year after year, which then again, maybe they will reuse that capital that they gain from that, or the cash that they gain from that, very similar to Taylor Swift, and then buy back their master rights.
Maybe. Which
would be really fucking cool if they could do that. Like,
yeah.
All right, cool. Let's sell our publishing rights to this hedge fund or whatever the fuck, and then get a bunch of money up front, and then buy the overarching.
Yeah, and have control over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be really cool.
Or starting something themselves where they don't know, like anything going forward isn't owned by anybody or something.
That's true.
Like that.
That is a lot of money up front that you can now use to fund your next project or your next thing.
Yeah.
Arcspire is going independent because they want to own their music as well. I think there's a lot of people trying to go independent or try to get more control over their music nowadays, which I think is a great thing, honestly. I understand what the labels are there for and how they except for young artists, like, you know, they do a lot of promoting and all that kind of shit. I assume. I don't honestly know for sure. But,
I wonder how. I don't know how much of. I know that they do promoting and stuff like that, but for the bands like what we like to listen to, I don't know how much is actually done for them.
And all the connections they can have, like putting stuff on the radio if you're radio friendly or something like that.
Yeah.
So, that's all I want to talk about. I wanted to do the bait and switch thing with the Taylor Swift.
Okay. I was really, like, I'm not talking about that.
Really, when that was announced, their engagement, I was like, I'm going to bring this up to Karen on an episode and just have her like freak out on it a little bit.
I probably didn't freak out as much as you want. But
you didn't. In my head, it was a lot worse that you were going to do.
I'm not talking about that. Whatever. They can do whatever they want. But
yeah, and I don't know. Maybe that's a different conversation as well for a future 666 around how musicians and celebrities in general are sort of looked at to get people's opinions and sort of like we do it too. There are celebrities we look to and like want their opinions on things. Why? I don't honestly know. I think it's kind of stupid. So I can't judge people who are like, oh my God, so excited for that engagement and whatnot. But that came up. I want to do a bait and switch. I was like, how the fuck can we do it? What can we roll it into? And I wasn't going to talk about the Slipknot thing because again, this is rumor. I don't think this has been officially announced.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just, they're in talks to do this in a rumor, like Billboard recorded or published this sort of rumor a while ago. So who knows if it's real? Who knows if it's actually happened or has happened?
Yeah, but I guess it doesn't have to necessarily go towards Slipknot doing it, but it is something that probably more bands could look to do, or, you know, like you brought up Arcspire buying, or, you know, going independent and stuff like that. Like, I feel like there's more of that, or there's more bands doing self-publishing because there's a lot that you can do now with recording equipment just on like a laptop versus needing the recording space and all that stuff. So yeah.
And there's a really great documentary about sort of old school recording called Sound City, where they do talk about that as well, and sort of the hatred for, I think it's Pro Tools is the software
the
used,
software, yeah,
and how that allowed anybody to make music and put music out there without actually knowing how to make music or what it's all about. It's a really great documentary. It's about Dave Grohl buying the soundboard from Sound City and going through the history of Sound City and all the amazing albums and artists. Is that the one in Dublin now? No, there's
that's only the only other one.
There's like 4 of them of those soundboards that were made. One of them is in Dublin. I think that Thin Lizzy recorded on. Yeah. The other one another one is the one that Dave Grohl now owns in his studio.
And it's at the like Irish Rock and Roll Museum or something like that.
Right, which is also a venue.
It's a venue and a recording studio.
And a museum.
Yeah.
And a practice space.
And a practice space, yeah.
And a bar.
It's very interesting.
It's a really, really cool spot that we were lucky enough to go to. Yeah. I want to go back and see his show and there. AJ or Alan? Alan was our tour guide. Oh my Alan
gosh,
was awesome.
Alan. He was so awesome. Yeah.
We did a whole episode on that experience. It's another 666 we did. In any case, I want to do the bait and switch. Ended up going into Slipknot because it worked for what I wanted to do. I don't know if the timer's still going. I didn't actually start it, but I'll throw it up on screen. If it's still going, cool. If not, we've reached our time, which we always do. But yeah, that's the big news in the world right now. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married.
Fuck that.
Congratulations.